Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's the Single Mom's Budget here, and today I honestly can't remember what episode this would be in my tips and tricks, but for this one I'm going to go into detail on how I do my overall budget for the month and how I break everything down week by week. And what I like to do is kind of plan ahead for the following month, so that way I have an idea of like what's going on and what things I may need to start putting money aside for. So what I have here is just a few of the things that I like to use when I'm setting this up, and hopefully you guys will find this helpful. So here we go. All right, so I have my my desk planner right here, and I've already started filling in some of my items, just like the due dates and all that kind of stuff. But what I like to do is I kind of color code here what things are going on throughout the month first, just so I can kind of have an overlook of where everything is. And of course, you're probably wondering, why am I doing June? But like I was saying before, I like to kind of be a few steps ahead. That way I have an idea of what's coming up and what things I need to plan for. And that way it kind of just works with the way I do my budgeting. And you'll see that as we go along with this one. Okay, so to start off, I have all of my bills written out in green, and I have them written down on each of the days that they're due. So we have them here, and that way it's really easy to figure out, okay, we're in week 1 of June, what things are due this week. So I automatically know that I have rent, Hulu, and Capital One that need to be paid in that week. Or if I'm going into week 2, then I know I have Verizon gas, my insurance, Prime, and the electric is all due that week. So that way I just have just that overview of what's going on. And then we go into paychecks. So of course I get paid weekly, and that's written down here in pink. But of course I also forgot that, because thanks to you guys, I do get a paycheck from YouTube. I'm not sure how much it'll be, so that's why I don't have numbers written down here yet. But, you know, we'll see how the rest of the month goes, and then we'll be able to figure out what that'll look like. Okay, so then once I have my paychecks written in here as well, then I have my savings challenges. Now, the way I figured out how much I was putting in each week for those challenges, I just look at what number week I'm in and translate that into which number box that would reflect. So for this one, we're looking at weeks 24, 25, 26, and 27. So those are the weeks that we're looking at. And I just kind of, count across the boxes until I hit 24 for each of my challenges. And then, yes, I did find my challenge sheets. I don't know how I couldn't find them, but I did once I cleaned everything up. But yeah, so I just go through each of my challenges, and based off of that week, just add everything up. So that gives me an idea of like how much I would need if I were to do those challenges for that week. And one thing that's really great about doing it this way and kind of having an idea of how much exactly I need for each of my sections will help me prioritize what will get adjusted for that week. So for posterity's sakes, we'll just say that this paycheck, I'm only getting paid $250. Well, no, let's just go with like $300, because that makes it a little bit easier to look at. Okay, so we have $300, and these are things right here that I need to account for. So I have my challenges, my savings, expenses, and then my spending. So not much is going on here. And of course I have like my Capital One and my Hulu, which like I've said before, I've always split those bills in half. So I'm not doing a full amount on those days. And what's great is because since I do my my debt snowball envelope that week, that last week of the month, when my Capital One bill is due, I've already made a payment. So I'm already caught up. So at this point, I'm just putting extra money aside at that point to kind of be ahead of the game when I'm making my payments. So yeah, so I have that 300. I have my savings, expenses, and my spending. And of course, based off of these, you have to look at what are the most important to you. So for myself, that would be to, of course, pay for my expenses, and then for my savings, and then everything else comes after. So between those two, that would put me at $210, which will leave me with $90 left over. And then from there, that's when I would decide, okay, I have $90 left. What things can I prioritize? Obviously, you know, savings challenges are great, but if there are things that you need to get done throughout each week that are more important, then maybe focusing on putting that money in your spending envelopes to secure those things instead would be more important, and you'd be able to fulfill all of that spending that you needed to do with that amount of money. And then of course, whatever's left over, I automatically just put it into my debt snowball. So that way, that's just additional payments that go into my car payment and my Capital One card. Okay, so then going down, we have savings and investing. And of course, with that one, that is $50 to myself and $20 each for my boys. And then of course, $50 that go into investing. Now, the way I figure out how much I put into that envelope is based off the 10% rule that I've kind of heard around quite a bit. And that's just, you know, 10% of your income should go towards, you know, your savings for anything that may come up in the future or for your retirement. And what you should do when you're doing it that way is 10% pre-tax. Sorry about that, guys. It should be 10% of what your pay is before everything gets taxed. And of course, I cannot do it that way. I don't make that much money. And I have a lot of things that I have to secure for myself and the boys. So what I do is I take the average of what my paycheck is every week after taxes and come up with an average amount that would come out to 10%. And that's where I got my savings amounts. Now for my investing, that actually came about when I was looking at how much I was spending on fast food or, you know, getting coffees or anything before going to work, and decided to cut back on those. And by cutting back on that, I was able to save myself an additional $50 a week. So that $50 that I would have spent going to Starbucks or going to Dunkin' or those kind of places, instead, I put that into investing. So that's why I'm able to do that $140 a week. Now, going into my expenses. Now, for other expenses, what I have there is just my, like paying for groceries or for gas in my car, or for any like little things that may come up. Like soon I have to get my car detailed because the boys, of course, love their snacks and they are all over my car. So it definitely has to get cleaned out. And then of course my car needs to get serviced. So those are those additional expenses that may come up that I have to pay for, and that will come under my other expenses. And then of course I have spending money, which is the $40 here. And that is my treat yourself envelope, which I put $25 in each week. And as of right now, I'm not actually spending that money. I'm saving that money to use as my spending money for when I go on vacation. And then I have my entertainment envelope, which I put $15 in each week. And that's money that I use to put towards different activities that I do with the boys each week or whenever we have the time. So of course, so that's how I have everything listed here. All the bills that are due, paychecks, challenges, spending, all that's in here. So now that I have this in my calendar, what I like to do, let me just move this out of here. I'm just going to split this down here. And I am going to pull out what I like to call my handy dandy notebook because it makes me think of Blue's Clues. What I like to do here is just write down each of my expenses and my bills. So what I would do is just quickly write down, like I have Hulu, Capital, I have electric, insurance, sorry I'm shaking the camera, Prime, car payment, I'm just gonna write down car, I have Disney Plus. And over here I have rent, gas, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Apple. So these are all of my expenses that I have every month that I have to take care of. And of course, it doesn't include like my groceries and like my gas, but these are like the main bills that I have to secure no matter what. So each week, those bills definitely get paid. And so then from there, I just write down like how much each one costs. So like right now, my Hulu is $35. Capital One is technically $65, but I always want to put in $90. And of course, I do a lot more than that every month, but minimum I like to put in for $90. For electric, that is $50. My insurance is $160. My Prime is $15. Well, it's more like $13 and change, but I always round it up to $15. It just makes it easier with the math. My car payment is technically $214, but I do $220 every month, and I like to stick to that. Disney Plus, of course, has gone up, so I just say that it's $9. And then rent is $400. Gas is $50. Verizon is $52. T-Mobile is $132, and then Apple is $15. So that right there are my expenses. So what I do from here is I just add that all up. So 35 plus 90 plus 50, 160, 15, 220, 9, 400, 50, 52, 132, and 15. So for those expenses, that comes out to $1,228 for the month that I have to come up with and pay for. Now, once I have that all set, then we have our savings and investing, and that every week stays the same. The number never changes, and that's that 140 that we have right here. So I just take that 140 and I multiply by how many weeks there is in that month. So for this month, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just take that 140 and I multiply it by 4. So for my savings, and of course I do have this written down like neatly in another book, but I did want to do this, you know, step by step with you guys, so you can kind of see exactly what I'm doing to get these numbers. So then for my savings, we have $560 that I have to put away every month. So that's what my goal is. And then we go down to what my other expenses are, and that is gas for my car and groceries. Now, depending on what's going on within those months, those numbers can fluctuate. As for gas, I always stick to $20 every week, and I haven't had to change that number. So if I do $20 and I times that by the 4 weeks, we're looking at $80 a month to fill my gas tank. And then for groceries, now in June, we don't really have any big events going on, no major holidays. I mean, of course, we do have Father's Day, but it doesn't affect grocery shopping, so that's okay. And on average, we spend about $50 a week. And we are definitely due for a big shop this month, for the month of June. We haven't really been doing a lot of like big meat meals, so our groceries haven't been that expensive, and we've been able to get by on being a little more creative with what we're going to eat. So on average, we do $50 a week, and we'll times that by the 4. So that gives us $200. Now, if this was, say, 4th of July, where we do a lot of cookouts during that time, and of course, 4th of July, oh my goodness. So if we were talking about the month of July, then we would have, like, the 4th of July, we'd probably have a cookout. Because of the really nice weather here in New England at that time, finally, we would have more cookouts almost every week. it's just nice to get everybody together at that time. And who doesn't love hot dogs and like hamburgers? It's super easy. Throw them on the grill, hang out outside. It's a lot cheaper than a lot of meals that we do eat. So we like to do that. So now that we have our other expenses, then we have our spending money, which is treat yourself and entertainment. And that comes out to $25 a week. Times that by 4 is $100. And then entertainment is 15, times that by 4, and that is $60. And one thing I know, you guys are probably asking, well, how come my treat yourself is more than my entertainment? Because the boys are so young, we do a lot more activities that don't cost a lot of money. And for the most part, we find activities, especially here in Rhode Island, that you can do with your family for free. So it costs us nothing to do that. So what I end up doing is I usually will just hold that $60 until we do like one big thing at the end of the month and do something then, or we just hold on to it and see what else may come up further down the line. And then what do we have next? Okay, so now after all of this, we're going to add this up, because this right here is ultimately what I'm trying to achieve every single month above anything else, as long as I have my expenses and then my other expenses, my savings, and then that spending money all done, then whatever's left over is what I can use for savings challenges. So we have for savings is $560, gas is $80, groceries is $200, treat yourself is $100, and entertainment is $60. So that puts me at $1,000 a month. So just for a 4-week month, we are looking at $2,228. Now that is what all of my expenses come out to in a 4-week month. Now, of course, those numbers can fluctuate depending on what the situation is. Like for my car insurance, after the month of June, I don't have to pay for my car insurance anymore. So that will be an extra $160 that I don't have to put money aside for. That will get used to go into my debt snowball. But those little things like that will kind of, fluctuate depending on what's going on. Oh, excuse me. So now with that number, I will pull this off as neatly as I can. So then that has all of that written down. And now with my savings challenges, we know for each week it's different based on what that savings challenge is. So I'll just show you quickly, just one of them as an example. So like this one, the 52-week savings challenge, each week has a corresponding number that we do. So of course, the number is different every week. So you would have to adjust for that. So what I did was I added each of them up here for what that total would be for that week. And then from there, actually, I'm just going to write it down here for my savings challenges, so I know what that total comes out to. So 222 plus 181 plus 177 plus 195. So that comes out to $775. So that's not bad. $775 saved in 1 month. Now, if I can achieve that, that would be amazing. And that's what I'm really trying to work towards, being able to do that, because any other time that money would have been spent on something ridiculous. So it's really great to be able to see that happen if we can make it happen. And of course, I do have everything written down here. And if I can't make that, make that savings challenge for the week, it's okay. Just cross it off for that week. It's all about just prioritizing what needs to happen on a week-by-week basis. And there'll be weeks where maybe I can't even do my spending money. I can't put anything, put anything in my savings challenges, and that is totally fine. It's whatever works for you at the moment is what you need to focus on. And so now I have that, and I'm going to add that in to my number up here. And that tells me that in the month of June, if I want to keep on track with my savings challenges, my investing, and keeping up with all of my bills, I need to make $3,000 and $3,003 is what I need to make for the month of June. And of course, with the way hours and stuff are going on at work, I do not see myself being able to hit this number at all. But with those side hustles and other projects that I get myself into to kind of bring in extra income, that could be a way to offset whatever I'm missing here. So on average, I should hit about $500 a week. Now, if you take that 500 and you times that by 4 weeks, that only gives me $2,000. So of course, if you look at that, that doesn't even cover doing my my extra expenses that I have down here. It doesn't even cover that. So what that means is each week I will decide which things I can focus on and what things I can't. And what I also like to do is just look at like what's coming up the following month. So we have in July where we do have an extra week in here. So that'll definitely bring in extra income, and that can offset a week where I wasn't able to do a challenge. Or if for some reason I am working on Sundays. Sundays definitely bring in extra income for myself, because here in Rhode Island we do have time and a half. So that definitely makes a difference. And I am hoping with everything starting to calm down around here that I will be able to start doing that extra side hustle and doing my DoorDash venture. And hopefully that'll bring in the extra income that'll also help to offset this. Now, if I am going to look at what I made previously with my YouTube channel, and I made, I think, $460. That's an extra, just, you know, assuming that I just make what I made previously, that would put me at $2,460. Now, if I needed to hit this $3,003, I just put that in here to see what that would come out to. I would have to make an extra $543. And that's, you know, assuming that I make what I made on that last paycheck from Apple. And that was the $461 or $62. But what I also have now on my channel is all the products that I use in my videos that you guys see on a daily basis or weekly basis, however you watch my videos. I have affiliate links to those exact products that I use, so that if you guys are interested in them, you can order them through Amazon, and then I get a percentage back. It's a very, very, very small percentage. But when you are trying to make extra income and pay down some debt, a penny earned is a penny saved. So I'll definitely take that penny. So obviously I've been doing this for a little bit now, not that long. And, you know, I'll make, you know, $1 here, $2 there, but those things add up, and that can also help to bring this down. Now, of course, for some of you out there, you're probably thinking, you know, well, in my case, like, how do I adjust to these things and, you know, not have this kind of a deficit where I'm searching to make up the money? That honestly comes down to, like, you're spending money, those extra expenses. Like, do you need to have those extra expenses right now? Like, instead of driving to work every single day, can you go for a walk? Can you take your bike? That's an extra $20 a week that you don't have to spend. And in a 4-week period, that's $80 that you can put, you know, you can deduct from what you need to make to be able to secure these. Or if, you know, for this month you can't do your treat yourself or your entertainment envelopes, you know, maybe this month it's a lay low, chill at home, find activities and things to do at the house or in your neighborhood. That'll also help you, you know, cut back on some things. So like for myself, that would be $160 extra that I wouldn't have to worry about. So those like little things are where you can kind of look at where your money is going and how you can adjust to make sure that the things that you really need and you really want get the money that it needs. So like in this case here, a huge one for me, if I really wanted to cut back and, you know, be able to secure those other savings and spending envelopes, I could look at, like, maybe I don't need to have Prime or Disney Plus because those are like the really big ones, or, you know, cut back on Hulu. Those are things that can really help to offset these things. Same thing with Apple. Maybe in your case, you have an overpriced cell phone that you don't really need. Maybe you're not using it for a lot of things, so maybe you don't need that iPhone 12 or 13, whatever one it's coming out next. Maybe you just stick with the phone that you have that you've already paid off. So like little things like that is where you can kind of look at how you can adjust for those things. So now that I have all of this written down, what I like to do from there is looking at my calendar and figuring out how am I going to pay for all of this. Now, we already know that if I'm averaging at $500 each week, I'm not going to be able to secure this whole thing here. But I do know with, you know, some extra Sunday shifts coming in and potentially having a YouTube paycheck, that will help. But that's why I like to, you know, break everything down the way I'm going to show you. So that way I'm still giving myself leeway with things that I'm doing throughout the weeks. And when it comes to the end of the month, everything has been completely secured. And if I have that extra money, that's debt snowball, that's extra activities we could do, and all that gets done. So what I like to do from here is looking at here, the first expense that I have, or first bill I have, is my rent. Now I know that my rent is $400 and it's in the middle of the week, so obviously paying it on Friday is not an option. So what I like to do is I write down in the previous month, I will just take my pencil, let me just move these out the way, and I would write in, what I like to do is try to have each bill paid for the week before it's due, and I like to use the 2 weeks before to start paying for it. So on here, I have all of my expenses, challenges, all that kind of stuff going here, and then I would write in pencil what other things that I need to do for that week. So for like this one here, we have rent. So I need to do 200, and then rent here will give me the 200. So then when I come over here, rent has already been secured, and I can pay that rent right on the first of the month. And I don't have to worry about, you know, will my landlord be okay with me paying it a little bit late and paying it on Friday? Because that's what I used to do, and I'm trying to get better at it and not do that anymore. So what I've done is I've split it up to make it a little bit easier. Now going on to the next one, I have Hulu. Now with Hulu, I do get paid the day before it's due, and that one is a $30 bill. I think, yeah, 35. So what I would do here, same thing, big or small with whatever bill I have. I like to split them. You know, it's whatever works best for you, but this one really helps me. So I know that this one is 35. So what I would do is I would put down, I'm gonna do $15 that week for Hulu. And then I would write over here that I also have Hulu for $20. So now I can guarantee that by that Friday when that money comes out, it's paid for. And it's the same thing where we have Capital One, which I do like to make that payment, but if for some reason I can't do this payment because of whatever is going on, it's okay, because my debt snowball has actually covered that bill. So I'm golden when it comes to that. But because I'm wanting to stick to this and my goal is to not have that debt by the end of the year and I want to pay it, that is $90 that needs to get paid. So what I would do here is just write down capital. I know my handwriting looks horrible when I try to write straight across. So for capital, it's 90, that is $45. And then over here, we'll just put down cap. Oh, no, I am in the wrong section. Sorry. Oh, by the way, I just have to say, I love these pencils. I found them while I was in Walmart, and I love how they write. They're so comfortable. They're really chunky, super cute. They're paper made. If I can find a link for them, I totally will let you know, guys know, but I love them. So yeah, so down here, I'm totally in the wrong week. For capital, I'm just gonna put down cap, and we're gonna put down $45. Now, I do that with all of my bills. So everything that needs to be done, I split them up between the weeks that they're due, and I am going to fill everything in. And now that I have that all set, that becomes a part of what those extra expenses are and what things I need to focus on for that week. So let me just finish out these two here, and then that way we're going to work on this one here, and I'll show you how I figure out how I split everything up and decide on which ones to use. So for Verizon, that one comes out to $50. So we're going to put here Verizon, and that is $25. Verizon here, and that is $25. Now, say you're working in a week where you have a 5-week paycheck, and you're starting to look at how that last paycheck just has a lot of stuff going on. Maybe in a week where it's really quiet, you can just start a little bit earlier if you need to on paying a bill. So like this one here, maybe this one just seems like there's too much going on for May at the end of the month. So instead of paying that first $25 for Verizon on the 28th, maybe I paid on the 21st to kind of give myself that wiggle room I was talking about before. And so we have that. And then for gas, that one is $50. So we just write down gas. So that would be $25. And then here, gas, $25. So now that I have that written down, it just makes it easy for me to keep track of it all. I can now take my handy dandy notebook and looking at, and I know it seems like I'm doing a lot, but for myself, I'm very methodical with everything I do. I always have some kind of process to how I figure out how I'm going to pay for things or do anything in life. So it helps me to do it this way. And I know for others, maybe this is just really long-winded and you don't need to do all this, but for those of us that like need to see a step-by-step, I find this super, super helpful. Okay, so now on this Friday, we don't know what the paycheck is going to be yet, so we're not going to put that down, and we're going to focus on those major bills first. So we know coming up, we have Hulu, Capital One, and then of course with Verizon and gas coming up before I get paid again. Those are things that I have to secure the week before. So we're going to write down those expenses first. So put down expenses, and we have Hulu, and that is 15. So we know capital, and that is 45. Verizon, 25. Gas, 25. So these are things that I have to try to secure in that week. And then we have our other expenses and our savings, which have to get done. So for those additional expenses, that is gas for my car, and that is $20 because I have to pay for that gas. I'm gonna get back and forth to work. And then groceries, and that would be $50. And then once we have those settled, we have savings that need to happen, and we have $90 for me and the boys, and then investing, and that would be $50. So we know before anything else happens, before we do any savings challenges, these are the things that we are going to secure for this week. So that I just take my calculator from here and I add them up. So Hulu, Capital, Verizon, gas, and then we have gas for my car, groceries, savings, and then investing. So that comes out to $320. Now, looking at it this way, $320 is what's coming out of my paycheck that week. Now, if I didn't split everything in half, what I would have been spending is $30 for Hulu, $90 for Capital, $50 for Verizon, $50 for my gas, $20 for my car's gas, $50 for groceries, $90 for savings, and then another $50 for investing. I would have had in my paycheck for that week $430. Now that's a huge difference between that $320 and that $430. So what that gives me is $110 that I wouldn't have had if I was paying each bill fully when that paycheck came up. So with that extra money, that $110, that's the money that I would use towards my savings challenges, debt snowballs if you're not doing any savings challenges at the time and you're really focusing on paying off that debt. That's where that extra money would come from. So that's why when I say that, you know, there may be a lot of steps to this, but there's a reason why I do it that way. And it just gives you that leeway or that little bit of space or breathing room, I would say, that you can, you know, if something were to happen, you have that extra money already there that you can put towards something else. And that's why I do it this way. And it's definitely helped me to work this way. I know when it comes to trying to saving and budgeting, it takes a really long time to figure it all out for yourself. And it takes even longer to turn it into a habit and to make it second nature. So that's why I really love doing it this way. And it also helps me to remember what I'm paying for every month and how much I'm paying for everything every month. Because for the most part, I would just every month I'm like, oh man, how much is my Hulu bill again? How much do I have to pay for Disney? Now it's just like second nature. I know what's coming. I know how much it's going to be. I know when it's due. I don't have to keep looking back and trying to figure out when it's happening. It's become a habit for me. But yeah, so that's how I do my budgeting. I put everything into here and yeah, that's how I do everything. I hope this was really helpful for you guys. I know it was pretty long, a little bit long-winded, I guess. But I really wanted to give you guys the opportunity to see how I do my budgeting and how I'm able to save for all these things and get everything done. But yeah, I hope this was really helpful for you guys. Thank you guys for watching as always. Like and subscribe. I will see you guys again on Saturday, 7:30 sharp. I'm going to stick to this time so that we can have our live chats because I am telling you guys, I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you guys while we are premiering the video. So thank you guys so much for participating and I will see you guys soon. Bye.